Welcome back to GH Always channel. Today we will learn about the latest dramatic developments in Port Charles, where relationships are being tested, threats are being made, and desperate measures are being taken in a town that never seems to find peace. The tension in Port Charles has reached a boiling point as Kai Taylor confronts Drew Quartermaine in his office with penetrating questions about the Child Health Initiative. Having caught wind of the congressman's controversial reputation, Kai isn't willing to simply accept Drew's explanations at face value. The atmosphere in the room is thick with suspicion, as Drew practically begs Kai to hear his perspective before making any hasty decisions about withdrawing from the project. Despite Drew's most earnest expressions and pleading eyes, Kai remains visibly unmoved, his face a mask of skepticism that suggests Drew's charm offensive might be falling flat. The trust that once existed between potential collaborators has clearly eroded, notes political analyst Maria Sanchez. When public figures face personal scandals, their professional initiatives often become collateral damage, regardless of the potential good they might accomplish. Family rejection. Meanwhile, the Quartermaine matriarchs are plotting their next move. At General Hospital, Elizabeth Baldwin and Tracy Quartermaine engage in a serious discussion about Drew's status within the family. Tracy reveals that she and Monica Quartermaine have reached a unanimous decision. They want to legally prevent Drew from using the prestigious Quartermaine name. This represents a complete reversal from their previous position when they had approved the name change. The catalyst for this dramatic shift? Drew's affair with Michael Corinthos' wife, which has now become public knowledge. The irony isn't lost on longtime Port Charles residents that the Quartermaine family, with its own extensive history of scandals and indiscretions, would suddenly develop such strict moral standards. However, Drew's position as a public official makes his indiscretions particularly problematic for the family's reputation. Family dynasties like the Quartermaines have always been protective of their legacy, explains social historian Dr. Jonathan Pierce. When a family member's actions threaten the collective reputation, the response can be swift and severe, blood ties notwithstanding. At Charlie's pub, siblings Lulu and Lucky Spencer find themselves at odds over Lucky's rekindled relationship with Elizabeth. The conversation appears centered on Lucky and Elizabeth's upcoming romantic getaway to New York City. While Lulu certainly has the experience to help cover the pub during Lucky's absence, having successfully managed the Haunted Star venue for years, her reservations seem to run deeper than mere scheduling concerns. What's particularly puzzling about Lulu's disapproval is that historically, it was Lucky who betrayed Elizabeth during their marriage, not the other way around. This unexpected opposition from Lulu suggests there might be underlying issues or information that hasn't yet come to light. Sibling dynamics often involve complex emotional histories, notes relationship therapist Dr. Amelia Rodriguez. Sometimes objections to a loved one's romantic choices stem from protective instincts based on patterns they've observed that the person in love might be blind to. Dangerous confrontations. The tension escalates dramatically at Ava Jerome's apartment, where Christina Corinthos Davis bursts in during Ava's meeting with Rick Lansing. The confrontation quickly turns hostile, with Ava issuing threats that prompt Christina to declare, "I will stop you, I will." This heated exchange foreshadows a dangerous escalation that will have serious consequences. In a rash decision that exemplifies how emotions can lead to catastrophic choices, Christina attempts to sabotage what she believes are the brake lines on Ava's car. Her misguided revenge plot takes a terrible turn when she discovers she's targeted the wrong vehicle, Rick's car, not Ava's. The weekly preview suggests this mistake will lead to a nighttime confrontation where Christina attempts to run another car off the road, potentially with Elizabeth in Rick's car, while Christina drives the other vehicle. In another developing storyline, Sasha Corbin and Felicia Scorpio engage in a sensitive conversation regarding the paternity of Sasha's baby. Felicia has been urging Sasha to add Jason Morgan's name to her baby's medical file, a suggestion Sasha has resisted. Nevertheless, she's left a message for Jason, who is currently en route to Toronto with Sonny to track down Soliski, the hitman responsible for setting Sonny's penthouse ablaze and nearly killing Michael Corinthos. The conversation takes a mysterious turn when Sasha warns someone that they must keep what they've seen confidential. This cryptic warning raises questions. Has Sasha decided to list Michael as the father instead of Jason? While medical records are protected under HIPAA regulations as long as the father's name isn't on the birth certificate, Sasha's secrecy suggests there might be more at stake than simple privacy concerns. Paternity questions in Port Charles have historically led to decades of complications, observes longtime Port Charles chronicler Samantha Wells. When medical records and family secrets intersect, the ripple effects can span generations. In perhaps the most dramatic confrontation of all, Gio Palmieri, Trina Robinson, and Emma Scorpio Drake find themselves in a standoff at the Quartermaine property. Councilman Ezra Boyle delivers the shocking news that Drew has ordered the demolition of the Quartermaine crypt, a decision that shows complete disregard for the family remains interred there. As Ezra insists that nothing can be done to prevent this desecration, Emma takes matters into her own hands with extreme measures. The question on everyone's mind, will Emma, possibly joined by Gio and Trina, physically position herself in front of the approaching bulldozer in a desperate attempt to preserve this piece of Port Charles history? Historical preservation often becomes a battleground between progress and respect for the past, notes architectural historian Professor Eleanor Whitman. When family crypts and development plans collide, the conflict transcends legal questions and becomes a matter of ethical and cultural values. As these storylines continue to unfold, Port Charles remains a city where personal vendettas, family loyalties, and moral dilemmas create a complex web of relationships that continue to entangle its residents in ever more complicated ways. Stay tuned to GH Always channel for our continuing coverage of these developing stories, and more from the always dramatic world of Port Charles.